The soup was a bit much, wasn't it?
JD, you mean it's terrible because you made it.
I didn't say terrible. I'm saying it very politely.
And that, right there, is British politeness in action. My husband just told me the food was terrible without ever using the word terrible. Welcome to Mr. and Mrs. Oxford.
That is exactly what we are decoding today. Indirect British English. Advanced learners often have perfect grammar, but completely miss what a British person is actually saying.
Because in British English, what we say and what we mean are very often two entirely different things. We use what you might call a softening layer. We wrap our criticism, our bad news, and even our true feelings in thick layers of verbal cotton wool.
Let's do a direct comparison. I will give you the polite British phrase, and Hazel will give you the cold, direct translation. Watch the captions for this. I might be wrong, but
Translation: You are wrong, and I am about to prove it.
that's one way of looking at it.
Translation: That is the completely wrong way of looking at it.
With the greatest respect.
Translation: I have absolutely no respect for your opinion whatsoever.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Translation: It will not be fine. I'm actually spiraling quietly on the inside.
Let's play out a real situation. Hazel, imagine you are showing me your new idea for our living room. Bright orange walls everywhere, and matching patterned curtains. I absolutely hate it. Ready?
Ready! Look at these paint samples, JD. Orange, everywhere.
Wow. That's bold. I mean, it's a real statement. It's certainly going to be a talking point.
Oh, you think so?
Absolutely. You know, I just wonder, and this is probably just me, whether it might be worth sleeping on it. Just to be sure. I'd hate for you to commit to something and then feel like it wasn't quite right.
Pause right there. Did you catch what just happened? JD used the complete British toolkit in 45 seconds. Let's unpack that, because every English learner needs to know this.
First, bold does not mean brave or courageous. If a British person calls your haircut bold, they are saying it is far too extreme. It is a polite warning.
A talking point sounds diplomatic. It sounds like you've created art, but it actually means people will notice it, and not in a good way. They will talk about it behind your back.
Probably just me is not self-doubt. Linguists call it a hedge. It protects the relationship so nobody loses face. By pretending the problem is my taste, I give you an easy way out.
And sleeping on it is the ultimate polite British way of saying, please, I am begging you, never do this.
But it's not just criticism that we hide. We do exactly the same thing with our emotions, especially when things go terribly wrong. This brings us to the famous British understatement.
Oh, this is my favorite. In British culture, expressing extreme emotion is generally considered slightly embarrassing. So, we downplay everything.
If a hurricane is destroying the town, tearing roofs off houses, a British person looking out the window will say, "It's a bit breezy out there."
If a British person has broken their leg in 3 places and is waiting for an ambulance, and you ask them how they are, they will say, I've been better, to be honest. A bit of a nuisance, really.
A nuisance. A broken leg. Exactly. On the flip side, the understatement works for positive things too. If you ask a British person how their food is, and it is the greatest meal they have ever eaten in their entire life,
We will nod slowly and say, not bad. Actually, that's quite good.
if a British person says something is not bad, that is the highest praise you can possibly receive. You have won.
Now, let's move out of the living room and into the professional world. Because this is where indirect English goes from being a funny cultural quirk to a crucial survival skill.
Right? Let's do another scene. Imagine we are at work. I am presenting a new, terrible strategy for our department to Hazel, who is my boss.
Let's hear it, JD.
So, my plan is to stop using computers entirely and do all our accounting on paper using colorful pens. I think it will boost creativity.
Right. Well, there's a lot of good stuff in there, JD. It's certainly a very unique approach. I think it's a really solid first draft. I just wonder if there might be room to develop the middle section a little more. Perhaps we could consider sticking with the computers for now?
Okay, time out. If you are not a native speaker, you might hear that and think, great, my boss loves my colorful pens. It's a solid first draft.
No. Let's decode the workplace feedback sandwich. When I said, there's a lot of good stuff in there, your brain heard praise. The British reality is, I am preparing to tell you everything that is wrong with this.
When she said, it's a solid first draft, the British reality is, this needs massive amounts of work, or it needs to be thrown in the bin entirely.
And when I said, perhaps we could consider sticking with the computers, that was not a gentle, optional suggestion.
No, that is a disguised command. If you hear, perhaps we could consider, as mild encouragement, you won't realize you have just been given a direct order by your boss.
This is why so many international employees get confused in the UK. They wait for their boss to say, you must do this. But a British boss will say, do you want to maybe have a look at this?
If they ask if you want to have a look at it, you must have a look at it. Immediately.
Let's touch on one more crucial area of indirect English before we wrap up. The social escape, saying no to an invitation.
A British person will do almost anything to avoid saying a direct no to a social event. If you invite us to a dinner party that we desperately do not want to attend,
We will say, oh, I would absolutely love to, but things are just a bit mad at the moment. Let's definitely catch up soon, though. We must get a date in the diary.
Translation: we will never see each other again.
A bit mad at the moment is the universal excuse. And let's get a date in the diary is a polite fiction. We all know we are not getting a date in the diary. We are preserving the friendship by softly avoiding each other.
Now, before we get to your weekly listener challenge, we have to talk about the most dangerous word in the entire British vocabulary. Fine.
Exactly. If a British person says, no, it's fine, really, it's absolutely fine, you should probably leave the room. The more times we say fine, really, and absolutely in a row, the less fine things are.
If it's truly fine, we say it once and move on. If they repeat it, you are in serious trouble. Which brings us directly to your challenge for the week.
We are going to leave you with a classic British riddle for next week. Imagine you suggest an idea to your British colleague. They squint, smile tightly, and say,
Right. Well, we could always try that, I suppose.
what do they actually mean? It sounds okay, doesn't it? Wrong. Write your guess in the comments right now. Do not look it up. Just take a guess based on what you've learned today. We will reveal the brutal truth in the very first second of our next episode.
And you will not want to miss that one. Because next week, we are tackling one of our most requested topics. British English versus American English. Same language, but a completely different world.
We are going deep into the different psychology, humor, spelling, and rhythm. And yes, I will be attempting some American phrases. I will absolutely nail them.
She really won't. It's going to be a disaster. If this episode helped you crack the British code, please subscribe and share the video. It costs nothing and helps our small channel enormously.
See you next week on Mr. and Mrs. Oxford. Keep listening, keep practicing.
And if something sounds a bit odd to you in English,
It's probably not just you. Bye for now.
bye.